let's do this thing. Low rider. All right, y'all.
Now I'm feeling it.
Thump, thump, thump.
John is like, why are you playing this song? I was like, well, they say low rider, and it sounds like range rider. I don't know.
All right.
We do not have access to this, so I can only play 10 more seconds.
Thanks for being here, y'all. We are pumped. We are a little bit behind the 8 ball for those of you just joining, but we got it worked out. We are in for a real treat. We've got the chat window going. We love to hear if people are celebrating anything or what you might be drinking if you're drinking something other than Ranch Rider tonight. Who knows? I've got some water so that I can make sure I get up at 4 a.m. to do my work. And we are just super pumped to be here, y'all. This is a real treat.
Tell us in the chat, or just tell us in the chat right now. At the end, we'll open it up and let everybody talk. But we have over 50 people tonight, so it'll be too hard to do it right now. But tell us in the chat if this is your first Facebook Live with the Antonellis, aka via Zoom last minute. Have you done any tastings with us during the pandemic? Let's see. Is anybody doing this who has not had Ranch Rider before? I would be excited to know that. Awesome. That's a good one. And yeah, I think that, and then well, if you're drinking anything else, and are you celebrating anything?
All right, now we're on screen. We got it going. Does everybody feel good? How's everybody feeling? Jessica, you had spotlight there for a few seconds. I love the tetherball in the background. I'm digging that. So those of us that are here, thank you for being patient with us. That was the first time we've had a major second time. The first time was a sound issue in April.
I'm sure it was equally annoying for everybody.
But this time we got it all worked out, and we can now all relax and have fun. Let me have some alcohol.
Nope.
Please.
All right, y'all. So welcome. It's 6:15 officially. We're going to start it off, and we will circulate the link later for people who are having trouble getting in. If I look rude, I'm every once in a while going to check to make sure nobody's lost in the Facebook world. Man, that's a rabbit hole to go down to. Who hasn't gotten lost in Facebook lately? We've got our 3 screens set up, so if you haven't ever joined us in one of these virtual platforms, we are looking at chat rooms here, your faces here. We've got stuff all over the place in case it looks like it, but we are 100% here for you tonight. And I'm going to kick it off, in case you don't know me, by saying, hello, y'all. I am Kendall Antonelli.
And I'm John.
And we own Antonelli's Cheese Shop here in Austin, Texas. Thanks. I hope everybody had an easy time picking up your cheese trays today. Our team is pretty awesome and rocking the contactless curbside since March. Whole new business. We like to say we changed 10 years of business in 10 days. So it's been crazy. Okay, so we've done all sorts of different tasting things. We've done tasting classes since over 10 years. We celebrated our 10-year anniversary in February. And usually it's cheese 1017 style. So if this is your first time joining us, just know that there are so many. We're doing different classes nightly. We're doing these as private events for birthday parties and weddings and chamber of commerces and a lot of corporate events and all sorts of fun gatherings, because the truth is, immediately we were all told to socially distance, and John and I are survivors of depression. It can be pretty isolating to do that. So we really wish people had said from the beginning, physically distance, but we really need to stay socially connected now more than ever, especially, unfortunately, in this ever increasing divisive world. So that's usually, I save that for the end and I warm us up. That is all to say, we are excited to be here with you tonight, proverbially breaking of the bread together as we enjoy these cheeses. Okay, we're gonna tell you where we're gonna start. Yes, we do get to eat cheese in this. But before we start, what are we doing tonight? We're doing cheese pairing with Ranch Rider. Thank you, Ranch Rider.
Thank you, Ranch Rider. We
were supposed to do this 2 months ago during the summer, but if you haven't been able to tell, they cannot keep shelves stocked. Like every time we try to call a local liquor store, they're like, I've got 4 cans left. And we're like, we just want to buy a case. So we had to throw this event for ourselves to be able to get
more.
So Ranch Rider.
This has been our go-to cocktail during COVID. We kind of, our friends told us about this
Nick and Maggie Andriani
in May. Thank you very much. And we've been enjoying them all summer long, and so grateful to get to partner with a product that's a better for you product, has no sugar.
We're going to talk about all that.
Okay. It's fun. And with cheese, oftentimes people are like, you do cocktail and cheese pairings? Oh, heck yeah, we do. We love them. And this is a great, convenient way to do cocktails and cheese curbside.
So we actually say that our favorite pairing with cheese, whenever somebody says what's the best pairing, we say bubbles. It doesn't matter if it's sparkling water. So we're big Rambler fans. If you're supporting local in Austin and Texas, we love Rambler, Topo Chico, Waterloo, whatever it is. Sparkling water is great. Sparkling wines like champagne and Prosecco and Cava, beer, cider. So really, why is it? It's the bubbles. Cheese is fatty and palate coating, and it just sits on your tongue, and those bubbles go in and they just pick those fats right up off your tongue, aerate it, and then take it down and help you crave coming back for more. So let's all calibrate our palates.
Yeah.
Those of you who are repeat offenders with us, you know what we do, and I'm going to do it and you talk about it.
Sounds perfect. So go ahead and pick up one of the corn nuts on your plate. This will just help get the palate really balanced. Throw it in your mouth and start chewing.
No, plug your nose.
Keep your nose plugged. I know I've done this so
Step
many
one,
times.
plug
Step
your
one,
nose.
plug your nose. No taking pictures. We don't put this on Facebook. Chew, pay attention to what's happening on your tongue besides the texture. You might pick up salt. You might pick up some bitterness or umami, maybe sweet or sour, one of the five senses. And when you feel like you know what this thing tastes like, release your nose and exhale out. Now, Kendall just breathed on me and it went straight into my nostrils, and I picked up Frito pie instantly. I'm not even chewing on it. I'm just smelling the aroma from Kendall, and it is outstanding. It is a really rounded flavor, and truly, it's what we're talking about tonight is that taste plus aroma equals flavor. So we're doing a pairing of tonight. There are going to be some sensations on your palate that you'll experience when you do the pairing, but a lot of it is really the aroma and what's happening up in your nostrils. And so, I mean, the olfactory has thousands of taste memories. The fact that I could pick up those that Frito pie flavor profile from
my breath,
from Kendall exhaling.
Now we're
while she
grossing
was
out everybody
talking.
else.
Well, we happen to live in each other's space all the time. We like to be together. This is our date night. Our kids are rotting their brains out on devices
and
right
streaking
now.
through the house, so hopefully they do not open that door.
Yeah, it'd be good if they probably don't open it.
All right.
We did a little family date today. We drove to Enchanted Rock and actually had a lovely little hike.
I don't know about you, and we don't need to go anywhere with this. It's just that yesterday was a hard day, and last night was a particularly rough night. And
well, the kids, our daughter woke up at 1 o'clock thinking that it was time to get up for the day. So, you know, that's a fun surprise for any parent when their bright-eyed, bushy-tailed kid gets in your face.
Yeah, well, that's not really what I was talking about. I've kind of been fine with that.
The other thing.
Yes. So for some people, last night was a little challenging. It doesn't matter what side you're on. And then today we just decided our family needed a reset. So we loaded up in the car, headed out to Enchanted Rock. Didn't really realize again that it was full 2 hours to be out there, but did a little hike and came back. And so we're feeling calm, cool, and collected, which is great. So we didn't freak out when nothing worked at the beginning. All right, I think though we gotta get started tasting some cheese.
Yeah.
So drop your questions in the chat. I saw, let's see, Natalia's on her second, Kelly and Brett on their fourth.
Yeah, we got some birthday parties happening.
Somebody did the West Coast tasting, our wildfire relief. You guys, we raised over $2,000 for that. That was last week. So thank you.
Anna has done 3 tastings.
Anna Klepper has never had ranch rata. I'm so excited for
awesome.
you.
Kelsey, did you do the raclette night in the cheese house, or did you do one of our new raclette nights at home that we just launched last week?
No, we did one in February, so like right before COVID.
Fantastic.
Awesome. So
yeah,
we launched raclette nights at home, and you can just rent the whole kit. All right.
we definitely will. Oh.
Let's do cheese, y'all.
All right.
How are we going to go tonight? We're actually going to start with this
this
long
beautiful,
one.
long, white rinded cheese that's next to the blueberry preserves cup here. That's going to be our first cheese, and then we're going to go clockwise around the plate. And we're doing this in groups of 2 cheeses with each cocktail. If you've already finished your cocktail, totally cool. It won't be as much fun.
We were going to try to share one each, but I might be running to the kitchen to get the rest after our hiccup.
Well, maybe. Who knows? Anything's perfect.
So the first one, anybody who regularly does these, you might think, oh, they're going out of order. We always start with the fresh chev, but I've mixed it up tonight. So we're actually starting with the one that looks like a brie.
And we're starting with this can, y'all. We're starting with the blue can, the ranch water.
So don't chug it all. It's going to go for the first two. I think it's fun to keep a little back of each and mix and match the pairings afterwards and see how it goes. And then if you've got your menu, which John will be dropping things in the chat box, if for some reason you don't worry. But we're gonna go, so the first two are with our first ranch water, then the second two with the Paloma, and then the last two with the Chilton. And that's how we're gonna move through. So we'll introduce the cheese first, just the cheese. Then we'll introduce the pairing that's on the cheese, and then we'll talk about it with the drink. And we'll talk about the drink. Yeah?
That sounds awesome.
Okay.
First cheese, you want to talk a little bit about the style?
And then we're going to tell you about ranch
the
rider folks too. Yeah, so this style of cheese, did you pick yours up or yours? Okay, they're too beautifully gooey.
You got it.
Okay.
You got it. There you go. Dun,
All right.
dun, dun,
This
dun,
is
dun, 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 dun,
a bloomy style cheese. You can see that beautiful white rind. Why? Because it blooms up like little cotton balls and you pick it off and pat it down. And it creates this rinder on the outside that breaks down the proteins in the cheese, and that's what makes it creamy. So you can see if this cheese was really young, it would have no cream line. And the older it gets or the more it ages, the runnier it will get.
You can see my cream line is just trying to break free.
So this one is actually almost perfect. It could be aged a little bit more, but this cheese is designed to have both inner chalky paste and cream line on it.
A classic French style brie they would be aiming for just that cream line, just that like pure room temperature butter texture.
And it's awesome that way, and then it can really quickly go too far for some people. So these style of cheeses are usually known for like vegetal flavor profiles. And then let's taste it and see what we think. Eat the inside first without the rind.
Yeah, and that chalky part, go for that. Got to find the right lighting with this screen here. We have multiple, I had it just as there it is.
I put the fancy light on.
This part right here, try that first. It's chalkier. It's going to taste more like the milk source, the original milk source, with just a little bit of.
Smell it though. It just smells like cream.
Oh yeah, it does. It smells wonderful tonight.
Okay.
We're
professionals here.
Oh, professional eaters and drinkers. That's right. So what we're good salt. So
salt, buttery, creaminess. On the very end, I ate a little bite with the rind. Is when I get more of the white mushroom caps. Peat moss a little bit.
Breathe out, you get some of the sort of the caviness of the aging room. So this is Blue Earth from Lambert Cheese Company out of Minnesota. Keith Adams. So this was founded in 2008 by our friend Keith Adams. He is still a great friend of the shop. He now actually operates another cheese maker, a different cheese company. He started WB Cofield in California that makes more English style cheeses. But this was Blue Earth. So this was not his first cheese, but a play on his first cheese. His first cheese that he ever made was Bent River Camembert. Bent River is a little smaller 1 pounder that ages pretty quickly. So what he ended up doing is that, like, after making all of those pieces of and filling all of his forms, he ended up with having some French brie molds lying around the cheesemaker room.
And by molds, the forms.
Like drainers.
Like a cookie
think of a
cutter.
colander.
Yeah.
Like a colander. And he'd have extra ones lying around. And when if he had extra curds at the end of a batch and didn't have enough of the Camembert molds, he would just put the curds into the brie style. And it allowed him to age it a little bit longer, develop some more interesting flavor profiles. And so,
because even though it's the same recipe, the shape will make a difference because it's how it ages and that rind to paste ratio and all the above. The rate at which it loses moisture.
Syneresis, great science term. You guys
proteolysis.
Look it up. Let's get the Merriam's Dictionary website to say it's the most searched term tonight. But Blue Earth, the name comes from the area around where this cheesemaker is, and it's a reference to the like really rich and hardy soils that exist. But the other thing that I thought was cool is that he named this cheese company Alamar after his 2 daughters, Alexandra and Mary. And so Alamar, it's awesome. He came down and visited us early in the business, and our team, Kendall and I think we had just had our first child, and our team took him out for drinks at the Draft House on Medical Parkway. And so pretty much he loves our business and has always made really delicious cheese for us. If you've had Good Thunder, you've had it before. So
I say pair it first before you put in the jelly with the ranch rider.
did you do it with the rind or just?
Yes, and Natalia said it brings out that kind of mushroomy. So why, in theory, and then we'll talk, the ranch rider, just so you know, in our turquoise, is all of these, let's tell the story of how ranch rider came to be. But y'all keep eating this cheese with this one. If you can, try to save a little bit of the cheese back so you can try it with the other pairings. But this is a local company, made these two guys, Quentin and Brian, I think, were MBA students at UT. And they ended up coming up with a business plan about a healthy cooking food truck that's delicious and still home cooking. And they did like multiple Shark Tank pitch style rounds and got all these investors. So they end up opening this healthy food truck called Ranch Hand. Ranch Hand is still open today, and so you can support them. So while they were working Ranch Hand, then they wanted like a shift drink, but a drink that would be easy. It's kind of in the beer world, I would think of it as a saison. Like what could they drink easy at the end of a shift that didn't hurt the next day, didn't have a lot of crud in it. I mean, after all, it's a foods that are supposed to be healthy for you. So they came up with this, and this is what they were selling to their customers. And then the customers all said, we want you to bottle this. And so lo and behold, they bottle it. It's 2019 Ranch Rider Spirit. And we only found out about it. And then since then have barely been able to get a can of it. So what is it? It is just reposada tequila, sparkling water, and fresh squeezed lime juice. And that is all that is in here. So I would like to call it, which I'm sure sounds less cool, a skinny margarita. So I have always made our margaritas, and this is actually just what I do with them, as we've just always done sparkling water, tequila, and lime juice. And they were first to market it in this way. And we're not condoning drinking here, and everybody should be 21 and above who's participating with us. This is the first thing, and maybe it's a sign that we're aging, but nowadays when we drink something at night, we feel it the next day, and my head hurts, or I'm just cloggier, or I'm not as quick. And actually with Ranch Rider, we haven't felt that. It's felt really refreshing, and I think it's because it doesn't have all that sugar in it. So that's what we're drinking. And the reason I paired the two of these first ones right off the bat is I wanted a cheese that was really creamy and coated your palate. And when I have the cheese with the blueberry lemon preserve, it tastes like buttered toast to me with jelly on it. Because I got that toasty flavor from the rind, then I got that buttered cheese, and then with the jam. So I knew it was gonna be palate coating, and then I wanted the effervescence of these bubbles to cut through that creaminess. So we're contrasting textures there and getting the little bubble dance on top of that cream. And then I was pairing the acidity and zest in the jelly with the lime juice that's in here. So y'all can tell me how I did.
That is awesome. So the jam that we're tasting is Robert Lambert's Wild Blueberry Jam. Robert Lambert is been a producer of ours since about 2012. He only makes products for 5 companies in the US.
If you taste the jam by itself, you can taste the zest.
So in this, he uses 2 types of blueberries, wild blueberries and cultivated blueberries. There's some Meyer lemon juice, and the zest. There's raspberry champagne jelly, which is our most popular jelly that we sell. He put some of that in here. Some pineapple juice, splash of cognac.
So we normally
say,
you're like, okay, you just named 30 things. We usually concur that less is more. Like our favorite jams that we sell in the shop are like 2 things. But so this is the one exception. There's always an exception to the rule. This is our exception to the rule, where he's such a mastermind scientist who like perfectly little tweak of this, little tweak of that to come up with these really complex flavors. I think you could even muddle this jam into a cocktail with this, and it would be an awesome flavored cocktail.
So part of my experience here, I just said the word pineapple. So part of my brain is thinking about pineapples now. I tasted pineapple when I put the 3 things together, which is pretty awesome. That's just how my brain worked. What is everybody else tasting with this one? And one of the fun things about this cheese is you can try to taste and do the pairing with just the inside of the chalky part, or you could do it with the cream line or the rind or all 3 together. It's sort of a great choose your own adventure moment.
These, by the way, I would totally drink all of these really cold. You can see this is how I'm trying to.
We forgot to put ours in the fridge.
So the kitchen is across the room with the children. So this is my makeshift like cooler, like Yeti. Yeti's gonna steal my bowl and ice.
Bowl and ice concept. I think we're safe. We're safe from that being stolen.
Okay,
That was awesome.
So we gotta do number 2, and then we'll compare them. All right. So the immediate pairing for me for this, the no-brainer duh was a fresh Chev. But I didn't want to kick off with that because I just felt like it's too obvious. For anybody who's done a tasting with me, I always talk about marrying acid and acid. So you have acid in this with the lime, and you have the sensation of acid with the tingling effervescence. And goat's milk cheese is known for being acidic as well, lemony, zesty, tangy, minerality, which I get a lot of minerality in this. So cow's milk cheeses we just did, buttery, but the most versatile. Goat's milk cheeses, I just talked to you about the flavor profile. So I want you to taste this one, but be warned, this does have jalapenos and artichokes in it. I haven't had a really spicy one in a long time, but just so that you have it aware. Okay, so tell us about this fresh Chev.
Oh, guys, I love this product. This is jalapeno artichoke spread from
just smell it.
CKC Farm in Blanco. CKC has been one of our partners since the very beginning.
Spicy.
Yeah, it's got some spice. I got some on the end of my knife. They've been a partner of ours from the beginning. So Chrissy started this goat dairy when she was 16 years old, and has been making some of the finest goat cheeses around. And what was amazing is like, the only way to get their product was for Kendall and I to go to the farmer's market every Saturday morning. They'd always go to the downtown farmer's market, and we'd have to go down there to pick up our fresh products every week. I remember, like, without fail, we went to that farmer's market.
Which is a big deal because we're working 7 days a week, opening the cheese shop, closing it. We have to get up extra early, drive to the farmer's market, park like a hustle everybody else does downtown, run in, carry all of our cheeses out, run to the shop, and then be able to sell
and then be there by open, so that we can actually sell the product. And so the CKC stands for Chrissy, Kenneth, and Connor, the 3 kids of the family. Now, Chrissy is married, has kiddos, moved on. She does Sunshine Texas cookies, which are these gigantic cookies that are stuffed with delicious things, y'all. You should
check them out. You can buy them. They're so good.
Get them if you can. But they're just good family friends now. We've got to go to their wedding, and we love supporting them. I think they've got multiple goat breeds, so a blended herd, and you can get that really rich, dense flavor profile from their chefs.
And what affects the flavor of a cheese?
I'm gonna eat now.
Go for it. It's the species. So is it cow, goat, sheep, water buffalo? It's the breed. And so what breed? And Chrissy has Alpine, La Mancha, and does she have Sagan? I know her favorite's the La Manchas. So it's the breed of the animal, and then seasonality. Where are they at in their milk cycle, lactation cycle, and what are they eating that time of year?
That's a good pairing.
So
Wow.
this one took it for me out of this first round.
How about you?
So here's some things to note. I thought they married perfectly.
Yeah, they played well in
But
the sandbox.
If for anybody who doesn't like spicy food, one thing you should know is bubbles make spicy food taste spicier. So I'm getting that lingering pepper much longer, and I think the bubbles accentuate it. So if you ever like really spicy Thai food or spicy Indian food, it can be fun to put it with bubbles, but it really can take it over the top in the spice level. So just a fun fact, like if you're gonna drink wine with it, it's almost better to just drink a white or a rosé with Indian and Thai if you wanna muddle the spice some or downplay it a little bit. But I love the heat that's still there. And then the second bite, if I were you, that I would do, assuming you've only done one, I would stuff the goat's milk cheese into our peppadew. So these are from Africa. They were just discovered by a farmer in the 90s. These are called peppadew peppers. We love them. Like this as a perfect little appetizer for folks. You can do this vegetarian version or wrap it in speck, little poppers. So these, kind of like a shishito pepper, are really not spicy. They're just, these ones are sweet and tangy. Every once in a while we get a somewhat spicy, but never hot. But I love pickled products have that acid and they're tangy. So I love this whole marriage together with this. So I think out of the whole plate, it'd be kind of sad if this is the highlight. We go downhill from here, but this was like this will be you know what, I should say, this would be an easy pairing that I knew what I thought was going to go together. So we like to do challenges and then ones like that is an Oda. And to me, this was like an Oda.
So it's interesting because what I liked about the first pairing when we did the jalapeno artichoke and the alcohol, it was the salt that drove the artichoke flavor out. The salt in this, the salt and the lime juice together drove the artichoke out. But when I put the sweetness in, that changed the experience for me quite a bit. I ended up tasting more of the peppadew.
Yeah.
The
so combo
fruitiness
one, we liked it better with the jam. Combo two, better just the cheese and this. It just did a different thing with the
It was different. It was fascinating because those two experiences I wasn't expecting. I was expecting the peppadew to really drive the jalapeno forward more, but it didn't. It drove the sweetness of the milk out a little bit more.
So you might be sitting there wondering, how do we pair these? We've never really talked about that in an event. Mostly it's taste memory. Like in the early years when we did pairings, we always met with the other collaborator or what we were going to pair with, and we would do these long drawn out 2 to 3, 4 hours. We would taste 100 cheeses. But now, because we've done that so many times and over the course of 10 plus years, we really theoretically know what it's going to taste like in our mouth before it happens. So we're pretty good at pairing it in that way. But then what's fun about artisanal cheese is that sorry, our children are, it sounds like moving furniture outside. I didn't want anybody to think you were having issues. Sorry, buddy. It's children moving furniture outside. So then what is amazing about it, I don't know what I said after I went inappropriate there. Oh, with artisanal cheese is it varies from batch to batch. So we can order it in thinking, oh, it's going to taste this way. But all of a sudden, if a batch comes and it's just tastes different.
It could be too young. It could be older than we expected.
Something happened to it in distribution or in transit, and it's not a bad cheese. It's just the flavors are not what they normally are. Then it makes a whole different pairing.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. So when I came back to the cheese after doing the peppadew, I actually got almost like a sourdough yeastiness to the flavor of the cheese with the alcohol.
Okay.
It was good.
Okay, y'all. So that was, and we still have a little
Amanda
bit.
said the cheese is delicious. We got a, oh my God, OMG hitting the.
Oh yes, this on a
hitting the
burger
crowd
would be
control.
so good. Who said that? Sophie.
Yeah.
Hunter, glad you guys like this one. So definitely, if you have any left, send a little bit back.
So the reposada tequila, if you're not familiar with tequilas, is somewhere aged between 60 days and a year. So it's not sitting as long and taking on as much color. So it's a rest in tequila is what it says.
Yeah, fantastic.
Awesome.
Okay.
So now we're going on to the pinkish orangish awesomeness.
Paloma.
The Paloma, the Tequila Paloma.
Who doesn't like a Paloma?
Thanks for being with us tonight, y'all. This is every single tasting we do is completely unscripted, and it just you're along for the ride with us. If anybody has a question along the way or wants to shout out, just let us know. How good is that sit?
You have to finish yours if you want a little pour, or I'll just drink it. So the Paloma, y'all, it's the same reposado tequila with sparkling water, but this one has. And it still has lime juice, but this one has the addition of grapefruit juice. So it's another fresh squeezed grapefruit juice and no other sugars besides what is naturally present in the fruits.
Did you say that Ranch 616 was potentially the birthplace? Oh,
sorry. So
going back one can before, if you can keep track.
Where did the concept of the ranch white water come from?
There's a couple different theories, but one of the theories is that it was invented by a bartender in downtown Austin at Ranch 616. Which is cool.
I actually heard that on the street too from my friend Martha Pinkoff. She said
on the street, y'all. You heard it here first. We know ranch waters from.
We don't want to start any rumors, but that was one place that rumored got it going.
Yeah.
Okay, so then are you going to tell us the Paloma history?
The Paloma history is a little more vague. It potentially hails from the town of Tequila in Mexico, from a bar there. A bartender invented it, but. All the research that I did today, there's no definitive. It also sounded like somebody made up a theory on and put it up on the internet, Wikipedia, and the world believed it for like 10 years, and then like it turned out to be fake. And so anyway, the Paloma is a little bit more mysterious. We'll get to the Chilton in a little bit, and that's a little bit more Texan. So,
all right. So
awesome.
yeah, other people have heard same thing about Ranch 616.
Multiple people are telling K-Tex that it's Ranch 616 for sure. All right, we're going with that theory. We'll update Wikipedia later. Let them know.
And we might have some Ranch Rider folks on tonight too. So anything we say wrong, please let us know. So what do? Our whole goal is not to make anything, but to be storytellers of artisan foods and share them with you. And our love, basically, we want you to pay us just so we get to sit here and eat and build community over together.
And support those producers so they can keep making delicious things.
That's why we really want to do it, right? And so if we get anything wrong, which we hope we don't, then share it, change it up. Let's make sure we get all the information right. Okay, so our third pairing tonight, our third cheese.
Cheers, y'all.
Is Quadrella di Bufala.
Wait,
smell it. This is a washed rind cheese. So about the style of the cheese.
This is gonna go great.
You can tell it's a washed rind cheese because it has a little bit of orange, kind of reddish rind on it. So much like your first category of cheeses, these are also surface ripened. So it means you're trying to create an environment on the outside of the cheese, which basically affects the way the inside ages. And in these, you wash them in a brine solution or a salt water solution, or it could be an alcohol like Marc de Bourgogne or beer from those crazy Trappist monks and Benedictine monks. So you wash it in something that basically creates an environment that's so acidic that all your other molds and spores can't grow on it. And what is the predominant growth is bee linens or brevibacteria linens. And they're what give it the smell, the pungency, a little bit of the funk. When you eat these cheeses, they're known for being more meatier, bouillon cube, broth,
coffee,
caramelized onions. So oftentimes I think this style of cheese tastes like French onion soup to me. This one is a little bit different though, because of the milk type.
And this is Quadrella di Bufala. And by the way, taste it.
Wait, if you can, break it under your nose. This is not just for me looking weird, although we do that as well. We like being weird. But when you break it under your nose, you're releasing those aroma compounds so that you can get a good whiff of them.
Those good aromatics. Definitely eat it. When I tasted the cheese, I did it with the rind and the paste. And
oh my gosh, so creamy. This is one of my top favorite cheeses. Don't tell the others.
It tasted, I got, what popped into my brain was like orange chicken at like a Chinese restaurant where you can only do takeout. It was outstanding memory. Up in New York, there's a ton of those like only counter service Chinese restaurants. And
John's a Yankee.
It happens. But this is Quattro Portoni's Quadrella di Bufala. It is made with water buffalo milk, which is the four primary dairy animals that we see making cheese are cow, goat, sheep, and the water buffalo, which is a giant animal. These guys are in northern Italy, just outside of Milan, and they inherited this dairy from their parents, and it was a cow's milk liquid dairy. And they realized at the time that that wasn't going to succeed for them, and that wasn't going to really be successful for all their families. So they ended up transitioning the whole dairy to water buffalo production. Bruno is our good friend. We got to go visit a couple of years ago.
And eat in his caves with our kids and pet their water buffalo.
Yeah, and they basically, if you take what is a Taleggio recipe and only has 4 ingredients, and you change one of those ingredients, you have to change the whole recipe. And so they spent time developing these really unique recipes for water buffalo milk, and they have hit home runs. This is one of our favorite producers. We sell a lot of their products. This is one of the cheeses that we knew we were going to carry, or we wanted to figure out how to source from day one. So enjoy it. It's like bread and butter and so yummy. And I think it's incredible.
Yes, Laura, the texture on this tonight is just like, oh, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling all the love for it. Okay, give it a bite and then try it with your Paloma. I was like kind of taking a wild card on it, and this rivals the last one for me. I thought these went awesome. You tasted right into the cheese, and you're like, it's gonna go well. You had already.
I know. I already did the pairing. It was outstanding.
Yeah. So this pairing was right on for me.
It was awesome.
It was like clearly the last one. It was like jalapeno, artichoke, lime, but this just melds well together. it's not that I'm getting something that says, this is the flavor you taste. It's more like, oh, I'm just enjoying this cheese and this drink combo. And so what salami did we put
This
with
is
tonight?
Rust Belt salami from Smoking Goose.
Oh, smell it.
Yeah, so you're gonna get white pepper, garlic, lemon peel, nutmeg, clove, cinnamon.
Clove, I got the clove. I couldn't figure out what I was smelling. It's the clove.
100% Duroc pork. Yeah, it smells like that one year your mom did like that super clovey ham.
John was like, no more cloves, but he would never say
It
that
was
to my
like-
mom. It had like
10 cloves per square inch. It was
It was
tough.
the most
tough.
cloves ever in a Thanksgiving ham. Okay, Smoking Goose out of Indiana. We were thrilled to be the first person to ever carry them outside of Indiana, and we are now a statewide distributor for them. One of their first, and they just do awesome things with meat.
Yeah, and I think I just love that combination of you get grapefruit juice, lime juice, and orange juice. And what I want when you're doing the pairing with the alcohol, what's tricky about doing pairings with liquid is that they tend to rush over your palate really fast, and you tend to swallow them. So try to get equal amounts of both the food and the liquid in your mouth, and keep them together and swish them around and exhale out without squirting it out your nose, of course. But that,
John, let's be honest, John is better at that than me. Sometimes I have to do the like taste and then the taste, but I still think that you can marry them that way. And sometimes texturally it's a little weird to do both. But this one, I think all in is great. I think John did say that, but this has lemon zest in it. The salami does. So again, I was looking for that zest to pair with the grapefruit in here and the lime juice, of course. I think on one of these I was going to do a candied lemon peel, but we ended up switching it up for something better to bring in a different flavor component.
and Jessica asked if you should do the salami and cheese in the same bite. Absolutely, try
Go
it.
for it.
However, some people like to put take a bite of the pairing first, then the cheese or the alcohol. Kendall and I, there's no right way to eat, so just enjoy yourself. But definitely try them together and see what happens.
It's harder for us because we have to keep talking to you, and so if we make too big of a bite, we've learned the hard way that it's just it's not attractive for anybody.
No, it doesn't work. There's the Food Network people usually cut to a scene when they take a big
There's
bite.
a reason the Food Network people have interviewed us multiple times, and then we never make it further because we eat. Well,
we have the
it's like, do
perfect,
you want us to just look cute? Because we want to eat it.
the little nibble.
Yeah, no, we're going to take a chunk. All right, so let's compare this to our next pairing. So next up, we have a firm to hard cheese. This is, so a firm or hard cheese, semi-soft, firm, and hard are 3 different styles of cheese. And if you're curious about the 7 styles of cheese, we do a class on that. And if there's a cheat sheet on the back of your menu cards, if you have it. Fresh, fresh was the second one we did. Bloomy rinds, that was the first one we did. Washed rind, we just did. And then semi-soft, firm, and hard. So really that has to do with 2 different things. How long was it aged? The longer you age a cheese, the more moisture it loses and the harder it gets. And 2, when you're making the cheese, what size do you cut the curds? And this is a little bit of a digression, but basically you have your big vat of milk. You've added in your cultures, which I like to say is like the DNA genetic substance of, is it going to grow into being a cheddar or a Gouda, as well as how you make the cheese. So you add your cultures in, and then you add rennet, and that's what coagulates or sets the cheese. It turns it from milk into more like flan or like custard. So then you need to separate the proteins, the liquids from the solids. Or Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet eating her curds and whey. I can never say separate the curds from whey. I have to say the whole
thing.
As you know from doing this with me
fine.
now,
You just have to,
like our 10 millionth class. Okay.
Your memory has it where you have to start.
I know. It is my diagnosed OCD, not making fun of it, where I have to put it all in order. So extra digression within a digression. Curds and whey, when you're cutting those curds, you take your knife or a paddle, or in big vats, it's this round paddle that goes around, and it's little wires that are very, like you can do this with a knife, cutting through that flan-like texture. And if you leave these big plump curds, that's intentionally so you can retain all those moisture in there. And if you cut them down really small into rice size, that's because you're gonna age it out like a Parmigiano Reggiano, and you don't want moisture in that cheese because moisture is not your friend. If you're aging, moisture can lead to rotting. So that's what lets you know about semi-soft, firm, and hard, and then we don't really have to talk about the styles that much. If you look at this visually, you can see all these little beautiful white specks in there. Oh yeah, there you go, you can kind of see them. Okay, those are called tyrosine. They're little protein clumps, are a result of the aging process. This also, as you can tell, is sweating a little bit. Well, mine is, so that's the butterfat kind of leaping out. and let's talk about this cheese.
Yeah, so this is cave-aged Shandoka, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Sophie is saying that it smells like, are you saying like it smells like a home slice pizza or it smells like the inside of home slice? To me, I
Good
smell,
question.
go ahead.
I think it smells like a home slice pizza.
That's fair. That's a wonderful thing.
Part of it, I
What
think,
a
is the
compliment.
bread. Like, this also smells yeasty to me.
So there's traditionally a cheese like this will have like mustardy aromas to it too. So
From the cave,
or horseradishy.
because it's
So
cloth bound.
if you like home slice pizza, Sophie says this is going to be a home run because half the battle is the aroma. But this is cave-aged Shandoka. This is a cheese that is made by Leclerc Farm in Wisconsin in partnership with Standard Market, which is the group that was aging these cheeses for them in the early days. And they call it a New Zealand style cheddar, cloth bound cheddar. And so it was fun thinking about that. Kendall and I got to go visit cheesemakers in New Zealand in 2016, and they're just wonderful people, so it made me smile. And what you get with this combination of it's 70% cow, 30% goat, you get this really nice extra acidity in the cheese, but there's still a real big butteriness from the cow's milk. So that goat's milk brings in acid and cow's milk brings in butter. Anna says this is a home run with the Paloma.
It was just easy. Like, you don't have to think about it at all. Yeah, I like the simultaneously like sweet and tangy nature of the cheese. When goat's milk ages out, it can almost take on a caramel or butterscotch tone. So that tricks your mind into that sweetness of it. And so that sweet and tangy, and then marrying it with this drink, which is kind of sweet and tangy.
So yeah, at first I'm getting like a Dusseldorf mustard, one of those really smooth, almost sweet mustards. Dumbledore mustard.
We've been listening to a lot of Harry Potter on the kids.
But
Not reading it, listening.
And then it's a sweetness that comes through tonight.
Well, that's why
amazing.
I would love for you to pair it with, we switched it up. This was gonna have candied Limonville, and then we said, no, we've already played that citrus a lot. Let's bring out that sweetness. And so we're pairing it with a guava paste. Gonna play on that kind of tropical. That you ate it? Well, I was like, I can't eat it then while you're eating it. So I don't know what it's going to taste like yet, but this is our guava paste. This is from the Casa Market. It's grown in the heart of Calvillo, Aguas Calientes.
That is wonderful, y'all.
So John and I've always loved guava, and then John and I also had guava jam on our honeymoon, and now John loves the idea of guava. But it is just so fun. This, if you've ever had membrillo paste, membrillo is made from membrillo from quince, which is a fruit. But now they do a lot of different pastes like these with cheeses. Wow. And so I love this guava paste.
That guava paste really stands up.
Okay, now I gotta go them all together while you talk.
It's amazing.
It's like you want me to work over here.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, usually I don't get the microphone, so I'm grateful that I get it.
Well, tonight we're having ranch
rider.
rider.
We're having ranch rider, so there's reason to be quiet. Guava is, the guava really comes forward and lingers. I'm still getting guava, and it's still going, and it's still going. And the cheese just had that really nice sweetness. I have not had sweet potato paste.
Oh, Natalia, where do we get sweet potato paste? Somebody tell us. I have not, but that would be awesome. That would make an awesome cheese pairing too.
You'll have to let us know. So what do you guys think of that? So we just had pairing number 3 was the Quadrella de Bufalo, which I thought was awesome with the Paloma. And
that was a hard one because they both really went with it in different ways.
I'm kind of thinking that the guava is the guava and the cheese is the pairing to go with.
And that was a team decision, so I actually got to give that over to our teammate Casey, who said, "What if we do this with it?" So go Casey on that.
Go Casey.
Okay.
And for Jessica, if you've never had guava before, if ever you find yourself in Grenada in the Caribbean, they make amazing guava jam there.
Or Jessica, there's a lot of amazing guava jam, but clearly one. John has to go back onto our honeymoon onto an island that's 7 by 13.
Are you inviting me on another honeymoon? Sounds awesome. Thank you.
Post-COVID, sure. Don't we all want to go on a bazillion honeymoons? Okay.
The flavor just keeps going on and going on. I just put in the chat a few moments ago Because we got a late start tonight, for those of you that got on a little bit late, Kendall's web camera on her laptop
I thought you were
died.
blaming me. Kindle's camera died.
The
No, but-
laptop number one that Kendall uses has a malfunctioning web camera, so it didn't work with
Thank
Facebook.
you.
So we're about 15 minutes behind. If you do need to get off and rush back to your couch because it's missing you at 7 o'clock, just text me in the chat window and I can answer questions about the next two cheeses.
And this will be recorded, and we're gonna send it right after work. Well, as soon as it loads.
It might be a day or
Yeah.
so.
Okay. Oh, we're gonna figure that out with other friends. But so we started at 6:15. Let's go to 7:15, and that means we are now on.
Pairing number 5, y'all.
Okay, I have like my iced soup over here in my bowl. All right, we're switching it up, and I haven't gotten to talk to the ranch writer guys to ask. So why 2 tequila drinks and 1 vodka? Ooh, and they just came out with a brand new one, a jalapeno one. I mean, I literally saw that like 2 days ago it was released, so we hadn't yet decided. We'd already
Probably
decided.
they weren't gonna launch
This
it.
has not happened to me before, but I just bent this thing. I'm gonna have to go get a different can.
I'll break into that at some point while you go.
Okay.
I'll lay it up. So this
Tell
Chilton,
me if he does a bad job. Okay.
this Chilton, I never do a bad job. I'm crushing it. This Chilton is actually considered a Lubbock invention. At Texas Monthly, I looked it up. Texas Monthly says the legend is that there was a Dr. Chilton who worked with his bartender to come up with a super refreshing High Plains hot summer drink. And they came out with the Chilton, which was basically vodka and lemon juice and salt. And with the bubbly water specifically. Now, they couldn't actually verify all of those details, but pretty much nobody knows what a Chilton is outside of that part of West Texas until now, until Ranch Rider has brought the Chilton to us. And so because I read it on the internet, it must be true. So you can take that to the bank. But this Chilton, this is wonderful. You can pick these up at some of the local liquor stores around town. I think they also have access at Twin Liquors too. But yeah, Chilton is the best, as Blair says. And Hunter didn't know that story yet.
Honestly, I love all 3 of these. Like I just rotate back and forth between which one I love.
And
the
every
best.
single person came on the microphone to say I did an amazing job while you were gone. You missed it.
I heard it,
was
and
so
because
awesome.
I was clearly so far
Thanks
away.
everybody, it made me so happy, yeah.
All right, so Dalmatians. We're going to this hard cheese. This is our first sheep's blend. So of your different milks types, I mean, water buffalo is the most fatty, but between the 3 that are most available, cow, sheep, and goats, sheep milk, I let Luna in. Sheep milk is the richest and the most fatty, which basically just means you get decadence usually on your palate. When it ages out, like when you think of a Manchego or a Pecorino Romano or Pecorino Toscano, oftentimes you get this nuttiness that's forward on the palate, and then you'll get salts from that age. And this one, talk about, is this our first raw milk? This is our first raw milk cheese too.
Oh, wow.
Our first and only, so we should talk about that.
Do you want to talk raw milk and then I'll do?
Yeah, so raw milk cheese. So when we first opened, it was funny. People would come in the shop and be like, hey, you got raw milk cheese? And John and I are not huge rule breakers in different areas of our lives, but we were like, yeah, we got like 50 of them. So as it turns out, raw milk cheese is different from raw milk. So you cannot legally sell raw milk in most parts of the United States. So there are exceptions to that from certified places where you can get it direct from the farm, and then certain states, I think like Maine. But for the most part, you cannot buy raw milk. That is different from cheese. So over 50% of the cheeses in our case are made with raw milk. And so it's milk that it has not been heat treated. So it hasn't ever been cooked. And so why do you have raw milk or not? The argument is that by cooking the milk, you're killing off all the harmful pathogens that could harm you. There's also a lot of science to say, well, those pathogens actually, the good bacteria then go away and can't fight the bad bacteria. And people for hundreds of thousands of years have been eating raw milk cheeses. So anyway, there's a lot of varied science out there. Why do people love raw milk cheeses? Because you're not cooking the milk. It's easier to taste the terroir, all of the flavor and the nuance of the milk because you're not cooking it off and burning it and stressing it out. So there are amazing pasteurized cheeses, but they're also amazing raw milk cheeses. And so this is one we get to taste tonight.
Oh,
we can
it's so
sell any
good.
raw milk cheese in the United States as long as it's aged over 60 days. If the cheese is under 60 days, then it has to be made with pasteurized. So you're always in the US going to find soft cheeses are going to be, with the exception of blue, soft cheeses are more than likely going to be pasteurized. All right.
So this is a Croatian cheese.
Oh my God, it smells like cereal. Sorry, talk about the cheese.
Cool. I love that. That's awesome.
Or is it cereal box?
Well, it could be a combination of cereal and cereal box.
Grape nuts?
So Anna already said this
Chex.
combo with the Castelvetranos is outstanding.
Okay, good. Anna's ahead of us.
So-
Okay, catch up.
This is Dalmatians, and this is from Croatia. It's made by a company called Pasky Sirana. They founded in 1946, making 100% sheep milk cheese called Pasky Sir, and that is a world championship cheese, 100% sheep's milk from Pog sheep from the Isle of Pog. It's a very hardy landscape, lots of rocks. It's very
Craggy,
craggy.
arid,
Yeah, you think
dry.
about the vegetation has to work really hard to grow, and the animals can and need to be very versatile, and sheep can live on a very difficult landscape, so they thrive there. And so that's Pasky Sir. Now, Dalmatians is one of their newer cheese within the last handful of years, where they actually, in order to make cheese all year round, sheep's lactation cycles are only about 6 months. So they end up partnering with dairy that's on the mainland of Croatia that does cow's milk. So this is 90% cow's milk, 10% sheep's milk from Pog sheep, P-A-G. And it's awesome. It carries, Pasky Sir has more caramel butterscotch notes. This one tends a little bit more towards nutty than that caramel butterscotchy note.
Go for it. So here's what I got.
Absolutely love it.
You can tell that we're doing a drink pairing because I'm like, all right, enough talk. Let's. So I got the salt from the cheese, married with the salt from the Chilton, and then I intentionally put in olives, these Castelvetrano olives. If you don't like olives, still try them. They're more fruity than briny, but that brine is what I'm thinking of. So when we think of a dirty martini, and you often have the olives juice. That's what I was kind of going for. What did y'all think? I really liked that pairing. I thought I did a good job.
It was so good.
Of course, at this point, who knows? But
Yeah, you guys, we get more grace in the 5th and 6th pairings after having whole cans of cocktails.
yay, Anna! I know this one. But this is what I think shows you about nuance and being delicate. Is I get salt from the cheese and the olives and the drink, but nothing is like overwhelming salt knocking out my palate. Instead, it's just this delicate play.
Combination of,
Yeah.
of food experiences.
Okay, so let's compare it to this last one and then kind of go back through and assess what y'all think and where we're at.
So
Yeah?
good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our last cheese, which John and I have two very different pieces, so I actually might want to pick them up and show them, but is a blue cheese. Blue cheeses, because you can see the blue veining in them and coloring. However, there are also blue cheeses which don't have blue veining. So when you have your formed cheese that's like flan, you can go back and you pierce it and you put little holes down in it. And you're not injecting anything to it, but when the oxygen is allowed to hit that paste, that mold that's already present in the cheese is aerobic, and then that's what allows it to start veining. So it just needs the oxygen to hit it. So why are you inspecting my cheeses?
One of our friends here asked why it has a split down the middle, the cheese, and so I was just looking to see if yours had it.
No, maybe on the wire, the way it got cut or not?
So Jessica asked what causes the layering or the look of a layering. And so sometimes air can get caught in a small space and create a crack, a fissure. It would be considered a defect when you're going to like an awards show or something to get a perfect score. But those types of things do exist.
And usually just create a more earthy flavor profile right there.
I'm assuming you were talking about the Dalmatian, not yet the blue cheese one, but.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the blue cheese and you can keep typing in the answers. So I wanted to show you, John, I got two very different pieces of the cheese. This is mine, which just looks more creamy and you barely see any blue. And then this is John's. And John's, where do I go? Where do I go?
Angle it like that.
Okay, y'all see? So they look like two very different pieces. If you don't like blue cheese, this is still one to try. I would say this is almost a gateway blue. It's Gorgonzola dolce. Dolce means sweet, but in this sense, what it really means is young. So you have Gorgonzola dolce or Gorgonzola verde, green, meaning like a young, like when you say a horse is green, an immature, a young horse. And then you have Gorgonzola picante, like the spicy, or Gorgonzola naturale. Those are the ones that are aged out. And those are known for more slap you in the back of your palate or the back of your tongue, and a sharper, we don't really say sharp in blue cheese, but that more piquant flavor profile that's hot on your palate. So because of this, it's going to be smooth and sexy, the creaminess of it, because it's really young. And then you can talk about that.
Yeah,
you're laughing at my description.
It'll likely take away
it.
the impact of the lemon. Is going to be my guess. It'll coat the tongue in a way that means that acid from the citrus isn't going to hit your palate.
Just smell it.
So good, y'all.
Smell my cheese. That's going to be our next t-shirt. Smell my cheese.
Smell my cheese. I'm with cheese.
Okay.
Kelly asked if they can make blue without introducing oxygen, and
Yes.
they certainly do. There are plenty.
Montenegro.
The oxygen on the outside of the cheese creates a really beautiful blue sort of skin, the rind, and it's amazing. And then the inside is bright white. We have gotten cheeses like we got if you've ever had smoky blue, it's this amazing blue cheese. We have gotten it before where they just forgot to pierce it. So all the other wheels around it have beautiful blue on the inside. But this one just didn't, and it tastes night and day different. It's amazing.
Okay, you're taking too long. You're supposed to.
Gorgonzola dolce.
So this one, if you've already, you can go back and talk about it in a second. If you've already paired it, what I love about this when you pair the two,
I didn't take advantage of Kendall chewing to talk.
What I love about this pairing is afterwards I had the cheese first, then I had a drink of the Chilton, and now my palate is like, wait, do I taste cheese? No, I taste the Chilton. No, I taste the cheese. No, I taste the Chilton. And that's one of my favorite things in a pairing is when neither is like the superstar, and it's still this, again, I keep saying the word dance, but when it's like they're taking the turns leading, and it's just like, that's what we talk about when we're looking for balance in that way. And I felt sweet and fat and creamy and salt, all kind of balanced. Okay, name control.
The instant the Chilton hit my palate, the blue aroma exploded. Like just popped into my nose and just
I'm gonna try a bite of yours
everything.
and you try a bite of mine. Okay, tell us about Gorgonzola.
So this is Gorgonzola dolce from Ceresa, which is in Lombardy in northern Italy. Kendall and I got to go visit them back in 2017. So their facility, the main offices are north, right off of Lake Como in the area of Valley of Valsarena. And this plant where they make their Gorgonzola dolce is just west of Milan. So Lake Como is north of Milan. This plant is just west of Milan. So they've been making, they've been in the cheese business, cheese business since 1927. They were basically buying wheels of already made Valsarena cheese, aging them and reselling them. And over the years, they've added things like Gorgonzola dolce, the taleggio that we carry in our business, mozzarella, yogurts, and they're just really amazing people. We distribute for them. Gorgonzola dolce is one of the oldest blue cheeses in the world. And it's amazing, and they just do a really good job. They actually age their Gorgonzola dolce a little bit longer than is required, so it can develop more flavor.
Yo, this also with like honey drizzled over it and nuts would be an amazing combo, like an apple or a pear slice with this across it and drizzled on honey, maybe a little crunched caramelized walnuts on it would be awesome. So look at your plate. For mine, it was that dance. For John's, which had more of the blue veining, it actually made this seem less salty. So it brought out a faux or a perceived sweetness in this that doesn't exist, but that was fun because your piece of blue cheese tastes different with this than mine did.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to taste yours. Mine was really.
It's like, yeah, no, I haven't tasted it.
It was an amazing flavor explosion when they hit.
And this
Josh said that his favorite pairing tonight was the blue cheese with the Paloma. So just as a way to play around, y'all. And then
I'm gonna try it just a second when we're done with this.
This is Fleur-De-Celle dark chocolate from Dick Taylor Chocolate, based out of Humboldt County, California.
Look at these little
Adam
sea
Dick and
salt
Dustin
on there.
Taylor were they were boat makers, like really beautiful shipbuilders, and they
Like wood craftsmen.
they transitioned into chocolate making. We were the first company off the West Coast to buy and sell their product, and we're addicted to it. This is one of our all-time favorite products. And
Good Food Award winner.
and with
So in this
blue
case,
cheese, it's a
you
home
watch
run.
John. He just rubs that blue cheese right across that chocolate. We do a whole cheese and chocolate pairing.
Mhm.
So clearly we're going salt on this. Yeah.
Mm.
How do we do? Seemed a little obvious to do the chocolate with sea salt with the Chilton with sea salt, but
You know, the bitterness was the overwhelming experience
brought
on
out
the
the
back there.
bitterness.
It pushed the bitterness more towards, if you're noticing on the back of your palate, because the extra acid, I think, really played against it.
it's late. It comes through late.
Mhm.
I didn't get it until now.
It's good still if you like bitter. Some about 25% of people can't taste bitter, certain bitter compounds, but I enjoy it. But the cheese with the chocolate by itself is a home run. I think with the Chilton, I prefer just the cheese.
Okay, so now it's mix and
Now,
match
yeah,
time.
now it's just mix
And
everything.
we are going to wrap this up and take it home. But so I did do the Paloma with the Gorgonzola. Is that what you just told me to do? That somebody said to do?
Paloma,
John?
yep.
Okay, Paloma with Gorgonzola. I'm like, am I doing it? Okay.
Yes, and Kelly, grilled pears with cheese and a slice of prosciutto. Just wrap that prosciutto around it, and you're in like a real treat. A grilled peach with blue cheese on it is something that we've done a lot.
I get with a piece of speck on it.
Crumbled bacon, which is awesome.
So Josh, I like that, but I'm still getting the chocolate bitter notes from there. Okay,
well,
so
no,
let's
I don't
go
know
through.
that he said do it with the chocolate.
No. I'm saying that leftover is
Oh,
residual
still
on my
carries,
palate.
still carries.
So that's why a good lesson, we go in the order that we do, because we always end in blue cheese, because even if you tasted it first, it would linger on your palate the whole time. So but we always put it at the end, and those bigger flavors like chocolates and everything, because they're going to stick around a little bit longer, even with bubbles. I'm curious to know in the chat, which was your favorite of the ranch riders? Is it the ranch water? Is it the Paloma? Is it the Chilton? Honestly, like I said, we love them all.
3 of them.
And then in just a second, we're going to go through and all vote for our favorites. But before we do that, because since we're on Zoom, we're going to do that like with mics on.
Oh yeah.
So that'll be the last thing we do, because that is going to be a cacophony. So before we go there, we just got to do our sign out and our appreciations and thank yous.
Yeah.
But don't leave until you vote. You know, as John likes to say, you can vote 6 times.
6 times tonight.
Okay.
7 if you're creative.
So as we wind it out, just one huge thank you for your patience today. Please don't anybody give us a 1-star tomorrow, because Facebook failed me, which, as John pointed out, is Kindle's computer.
Actually, I say that not having a real understanding of, I assume it was Facebook too, so we'll find out.
So anyway.
I'll email Mark Zuckerberg in the morning and let him know that he really let us down there for a few minutes, but we carried it.
Thank you. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for supporting Ranch Rider with this event, which is another local company. Thank you for supporting all your local mom and pops and the restaurants and anybody in hospitality. Any way you can book a future event. Thank you for giving grace and having patience with all of us. In those early days, right in March, when we pivoted our curbside pickup, our team was like running through the streets of Hyde Park, sweating. Some people were waiting an hour to get their cheese. And so we've hopefully honed that in, and nobody's waiting that long. But we know that we make mistakes here and there. So if we do, let us know. And that takes us to our core principles. And if you've been with us before, you've heard us say it, but it's important to us that we live our core principles. We don't just talk about them. And the only way that we can live them is to keep talking about them, to keep them top of mind. So I'm going to go backwards. And with that, it's improve every day. So for us, that means if we made a mistake, let us know so we can make it better for you. And we always believe that there is no best, there's only better, which means personally, professionally, we can always do things in a different way. And we're always trying to do it in another way to make it better. And if you have good feedback for us or for any other business, as an owner, I can tell you it does keep me up at night when I see something that's a bad review. I know I'm not supposed to, but it does. So I will say, take negative feedback directly to us. Let us have a chance to fix it, and take positive feedback straight to the internet, because we need you to spread the word. So number
We're getting mad love up on this chat window.
Oh yeah, I can't even see it.
I want to post this chat window next to my bed. When I wake up in the morning, I read these things.
Is it the ranch rider we're getting mad love for?
We got no. Yeah,
all right, number 4, going backwards.
Family first, then business.
However you define family, whether it's your dog who's sitting with us, whether it is your adopted family, your chosen family, your biological family, we define family in so many different ways these days. And we know that we all go to work to put a roof over our heads, food in our bellies, and pay for our medical bills for us and for the people and things that we love. And that's why we do it. And if we can't do that and keep that in perspective, then it's not worth it. So we make sure that if our team has an issue, or whoever and however you define that family, that's what we're keeping front and foremost, both with our team, also with our customers, with our distributors when we're negotiating pricing. We want it all to be a win-win for everybody. Number 3.
Be true to yourself, to others. And this is our integrity clause. So this is...
I let him speak every once in a while.
Every once in a while. This, be honest, right? If we don't know something, we don't know something. It also talks to letting everybody, our customers, our team members, show up in the skin that they're in. That's ultimately the goal, feeling that you're in the right place, and that you can be exactly who you are.
You don't have to bend to be anybody else. As long as when you step foot in our doors, you respect every other being that's in our doors, then we have a place for you. Number 2.
Yeah, be a juggernaut of awesome.
Y'all, it's not good enough to just be awesome. Like,
Yeah.
like right now, I'm just like at home alone being awesome.
Yeah, you are.
A juggernaut is an overwhelming force. How are we creating a positive impact? We believe that every time you walk into a room, nobody's walking into any rooms these days, but every time we jump on
Virtually into a Zoom room.
or you get on a phone, you are either giving people energy and zapping it. And we all do different things at different times because life, but we want to be people who are hopefully always giving you positive energy and always creating and leaving a positive wake. And that part of that's for us being a juggernaut of awesome. What are we doing? And I mean, it sounds trite and cliche, but what are we doing to make the world a better place? And for us, it starts kind of one smile at a time, with each one of you, watching you on Zoom. And for those of you that we can see, gauging your, what we call cheese happy dances. That to us is important. And then number 1,
passion with purpose.
take it home, John.
Oh, fantastic, my love. Passion is what gives you fuel, and purpose is what gives you direction. The two things together are what change the world. So that is one of our TEDx talks that we've done, and we truly believe it. And so hopefully you get to do the things that you love, and you get to make a difference in the world doing that. And
all of that is the how we do it, the why we do it is our mission to do good, eat good. So what does that mean? All of these makers, we support folks who are, I was like, do I have anything left on my plate to show? We support folks who make their cheeses and their goods in a way that is sustainable and regenerative for the land, treating their animals humanely, treating their teams ethically. And then when you come spend your hard-earned dollar with us, we get to do all the same. And we take care of our team, and hopefully we take care of our community, and we give back. And that's our do good, eat good cycle, and the way that it keeps going. We had a particularly rough year when somebody told us the business was about to go under, and John ended up with pretty bad depression from it. I guess it's not pretty bad. There's depression or not. And John ended up diagnosed with depression from it. And that gentleman said, if you'd spent less time in the community, more time on your business, you wouldn't have gotten here. And for us, we went back and talked about it a long time, and we said, well, if we weren't doing it to benefit our community, then it's not worth doing it all. So we will ride this thing out as long as we can. 10 years and counting. Come on, y'all. Let's keep going. But thank you, because you sitting there right now are doing your part to support small businesses, to support the do good, eat good cycle, to support these good food makers. I'm working myself up like I'm gonna cry. So all that
land the plane. You can do it. You can do it.
So it is just, when we say thank you, we just want you to know that we mean it.
Cheers, y'all.
Okay, let's vote. Now, enough of that sob story.
I'm gonna unmute everybody.
John's gonna do the unmute all.
I'm gonna, yeah.
Here we go, guys. We're gonna unmute all, and I'm gonna go through, and you cheer as loud as you want for whichever pairing you like best. So I'm gonna say number 1, number 2, number 3. Libby, I see that look of fear on your face, but we can do it, lady. All right, here
How
we
many
go.
times can we vote? How many times can we vote?
Y'all know there's enough negativity out there. I want to see some positivity. All right, whose favorite is number 1?
Where's the olives and what do we like them?
Nobody?
Oh, you really
Yeah, that was good.
Delay works fine. Okay, whose favorite is number 2? Okay. This is funny with the delay. All right, number 3.
Hey.
Okay, number 4. Check
Yeah!
that out. Number 5.
Yeah.
Okay, number 6. Gorgonzola.
Oh yeah.
All right, y'all did great. With that, we love you, Austin, and thank you. We're gonna stick around while y'all peace out, so feel free to ask us anything or in the chat, and then you don't feel like you have to hang around. Thank you for putting up with our lateness.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Bye, Natalia.
Thank you.
We have to wait till we're
Thank you so
done.
much.
We have to wait until we're done and then we'll watch the show together.
Everyone show their dogs.
Yeah, dog love.
Thank you guys. That was a lot of fun.
Thanks, Jessica. I appreciate all the positive feedback.
Show me your cheese dogs. Any cheese cats out there? Blair's got a dog. Sophie's got a dog. Oh, I just saw Libby. I think we need to start a cheese dogs of Instagram or something. A dogs class.
Cheese is their favorite.
Oh, Danny's dog is sleeping. Thank you.
Y'all are the
guys,
best.
so
Thank
much.
you.
This is our Luna Luca. Thanks, Court and Rom. Did you have fun at cheese class tonight?
Yeah, thanks, y'all. Have an awesome evening.
Thank you so
You too.
much.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank y'all.
Bye.